When I applied for rooms in shared houses, they'd say, "Do you have an unusual hobby?" And I'd say no. And then wait until Saturday night, when everybody was out, and bring in the Marshall stack, a Fender Strat. Then practice at half of one on the volume with treble and bass off, no reverb, and it was horrible. I'm not saying I don't have any friends, but I get depressed if my food stocks are complete, because I know I have no excuse to go to the supermarket. This Scotsman arrives at the gates of heaven and he knocks on the door, and God says, "Who is it?" And he says, "Hamish McTavish." And God says, "You can piss off, I'm not making porridge for one." I met Huey Green in the bar once. Do you remember Huey Green? Probably not. He was a comedian anyway. He said, can you lend me twopence? 2 cents. I want to ring a friend. I said, here's 4 cents. Ring them all. This Irish fella went to a car boot sale, parked in the wrong way, sold the engine. These Irishmen were at Epping Forest outside the timber yard. They walk into the foreman's office. They say, "We see that you'll be looking for tree fellers. We'd like the job, but there's only 2 of us." This tramp goes to see the doctor, and the doctor says, "Oh, get out, you dirty bastard, you stink." The tramp says, "That's what the doc down the road said." The doctor says, "So what did you come here for?" He says, "I wanted a second opinion." I joined the army years ago and I had to strip off for the medical officer, and he said, "You're not very big down there." I said, "We're only going to fight them, aren't we?" This Negro went to Birmingham, Alabama to vote. And the state trooper says, "What do you want?" He says, "I've come to vote." He says, "There's no Negroes voting today." He says, "I can read and I can write, so I've come to vote." The trooper says, "Can you write?" He says, "I can." He gets a piece of greaseproof paper and a pen. "Put your name and address on there," he says. And then he says, "I could write when I left home this morning." He says, "I'm still voting because I can read." He says, "Can you read?" And he gives him the Jewish Chronicle. He says, "I don't know what the small print says, but the headlines are, 'There's no Negroes voting today.'" Irish fella on the top of a blazing building. The fireman shouts, "Jump in the blanket. Paddy, jump in the blanket." "Not freaking likely," he says. "You English hate the freaking sight of us," he says. "I'm jumping in no blanket." "I jump, you'll pull the blanket away," he says. "Put the blanket on the floor, then I'll jump."